Sebastian with Bullish Coder Reviews, and today I wanted to bring you a brand new monitor by Asus TUF. It's actually not brand new, it's been out for a few months, but I picked it up right when it came out, and I'm going to be talking about my experience with this monitor over the past few months. I've been using it as my main monitor for entertainment, gaming, and for some productivity as well. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a review on that. So stay tuned. So I just want to give you guys a quick review of the pros, the cons, and the gaming experience with this monitor, because that is the main reason why I bought this monitor. Now, I like to play video games on my PC, only a PC game, and I don't game on any other platform. And nowadays, you know, to get a really good gaming experience, you need at least a 144 megahertz monitor. Now, that is not, you know, an absolute requirement for gaming on PC, but it definitely helps. It makes the screen, you know, before I went to this high refresh monitor, I always use a 60 hertz monitor, and the difference between going from 60 hertz to 144 plus hertz is just mind-blowing. Everything looks like you've seen smoothness for the first time in your life. So let's get into the pros first. I always like to get good news first, so that's what I'm going to give you guys. So let's take my first pro on this. It's just it's the price of the monitor. This is relatively, for a 32 inch or, well, 31.5 inch monitor, this is very well priced. Now, the reason why you're going to notice this difference in price versus other 32 inch monitors with 144 hertz plus rating on it is because it's not an IPS panel. It's a QHD panel. Now hold on, don't click away just yet. Now, this monitor might not be an IPS panel, but let me tell you, it's still pretty good. So I have a 32 inch IPS panel that I was using before this one, also a 2K monitor, and same exact size as this one. So very similar monitors. The only difference is this one is curved, this one has a higher refresh rate, and of course it's not an IPS. Now, when I compare the two side by side, this QHD monitor looks very similar to an IPS panel, in my opinion. Of course, that's just my opinion. It's more of a matte look to it than the glossy finish you see on like a lot of traditional LCD panels. Now, I also have a 32 inch LCD panel, which has a glossy screen. So it's very, you know, very shiny, very glossy, very different than an IPS panel, and very different from this QHD panel. Now, this is what my setup looks like here. I have two monitors here. I have one vertical one and of course my main 32 inch monitor here. Now, I have this mounted. So I got this mount because the base of this monitor came with was just not that high. So even though at the highest setting on my desk, I always found myself looking down or having to lower my neck, or, you know, just having bad posture in general just to get a good viewing angle on the monitor. And the thing about these curved monitors is that if you're not viewing it exactly the way it's meant to be viewed, you're gonna get like darkness, shadows, and things that just don't look right in the field of view. So keep that in mind when buying this monitor. So like the monitor mount that I got on this, it's a gas spring mount, and it cost me about 40 bucks on Amazon. I'll go ahead and leave that in the description as well. But this is a really good monitor. So let's jump into the cons. I know I kind of already talked about this a little bit, but essentially the biggest con that I had with this monitor was the viewing angle, and how if you're not looking at it correctly, you're not gonna get a good image out of the monitor. That is not relatively unique to this one monitor. That's essentially a problem with all curved monitors. And also, a lot of these issues or these viewing problems that I had with it were outside of gaming and entertainment. So when I was watching movies, it's perfectly fine. When I'm playing video games, it's perfectly fine. But when I'm not doing those things, I definitely notice like shadows when I'm moving around. If I'm on my desk chair and I want to lay back on the desk chair and just look at the screen, you could definitely see some not necessarily distortion, but you could see some darkness, some shadows and stuff like that, just because you're not looking at it the way it's meant to be looked at. So besides the stand that comes with, having to put it on a monitor mount just so I can have it at the right eye level, so I can work, you know, with my back straight, looking at the curved monitor the way it's meant to be looked at. I really had no other issues with this. Now, obviously, why did I buy this monitor? It's because of the high refresh rate and the size, so I can play the latest titles at the best refresh rates, and that's why we did it. So let me just talk about the Call of Duty experience on this real quick. So I've been playing a lot of Warzone, a lot of Modern Warfare on it, and some Cold War now that, you know, it's out and about, zombies. So really amazing experience overall. Now, since this is a gaming monitor, Asus puts some gaming settings on it. So like they have like these game mode settings that you can select. They have like, you know, FPS, racing mode, and all, you know, RTS mode, and all these other modes that you can select from, depending on the type of game that you're playing. And you obviously have manual control over all of that. You also have the overdrive on it. So when it comes to gaming, really great monitor. You can it even shows you the refresh or the frame counter directly through the monitor, like, so you don't have to depend on the computer or your graphics software to show you the frames that you're getting on your game. Now, I tested it in Call of Duty using the on-screen one that comes with a monitor and the one that's from Call of Duty, just to see if they matched up, and they definitely did. So one thing that was rather annoying though with this is the frame count on it. So sometimes I would boot up the game and I noticed that I'm only getting 60 FPS when I should be getting 100 and, you know, 100 plus, because I am running this on a 5700 XT, you know, one of the latest Ryzen processors. I have a Ryzen 3800X, so a really good hardware, and it allows me to get very high FPSs. So sometimes I would boot up the game, it would work perfectly fine. Other times it would show 60 FPS. It wouldn't go to the full 100 and plus FPS that I was supposed to be getting. Now, this really annoyed me at first, but it was just, it just had to do with tweaking the settings, updating the drivers, rebooting the computer after you perform those actions, so you get the freshest possible gaming experience right when, you know, after a reboot. Now, definitely don't skip the reboot. You have to reboot. I found that that was one of the things that helped me out the most. Now, after a week of going through that pain and having to, you know, going through the settings and setting everything up, it's been smooth can be over the past few months. Now, this is my primary monitor. I love it. I'll leave it in the description if I can, somewhere around here. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll try to get to them as best as I can. And have a nice day.